Radio.
Decoding the Mystic is a show discussing world issues and events that affect us and the energy around us. Join Jen Young and Vicki Johns as they focus on these topics with a splash of spiritual, mediumship, humor, and non-stop craziness. Come listen to Decoding the Mystic, which airs on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Only on the Paramania Radio Network.
As we sailed into the mystic.
Tune into the Chris and Wayne Show every Thursday night at 8 o'clock on ParamaniaRadio.com. Up aboard the Haunted Ship of Doom and join Captain Chris.
It was the government secretly outside of the studio.
Skipper Wayne.
I think it's time you get the Kraken out of your butt.
Deck Wench Joe.
Yeah, I got stuck on the corner.
And of course, Cabin Boy Todd. Oh, look where I'm sitting. And always remember our motto. Don't just listen to the mayhem, be a part of it.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Paramania, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
You are listening to Paramania Radio.
You're listening to the Parasearch UK radio show with your hosts Kerry Greenaway and Jay Lynch, right here on Paramania Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Parasearch UK radio show. I'm Jay with my lovely co-host, Miss Kerry Greenaway. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble because we got Dr. Dave joining us, and Teresa. So when we're talking a serious topic that Kerry's picked tonight.
I do love to bring a serious topic to the table and see if we can ruin it.
So basically, Teresa,
if you want to ruin it, Jay will be happy to do that.
Oh, I can ruin it in a heartbeat. How are you tonight, Dave?
I'm doing really good. I'm planning this evil little twist at some point in the future for this show. We're going to have the left channel with the girls in it and the right channel in your ears with the guys in it. That'll be fun.
Oh, hell yeah. I like that.
I think the women should be right side because women are usually right.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I won't.
No, Jay. Left people are in their right minds.
I've never been in my right mind or my left mind ever. I'm just out of my mind, period. It doesn't matter which side you pick. Now, Kerry, you picked Paranormal Responsibility.
Yes, I did this week.
And that's why we invited Dave and Kerry and Teresa in, because we all know how irresponsible I can be.
Well, I thought we'd invite the other two on as well because we all know that you're not particularly good with responsibility. So I thought, well, let's get some other people on as well. No, I wanted to discuss, there's lots of different aspects to this in regard to responsibility in the paranormal field, because you've got different ways of investigating and the responsibility changes in regards to what kind of investigation you're doing. So first off, let's kick off with public. If you've got public coming on to an investigation. Now, in the UK, we have to have something called public liability insurance. And there's also something you can have, which is insurance in case your event gets cancelled for whatever reason.
I don't think public... I really don't know that level right there. I know when we did events at the few places we've been and we've helped host events for, we've never got any...
I think maybe that's on the location owner.
Ah, so it's different in America to how it is in the UK.
Yeah, it would be on the location owner.
There are some things that I've heard of having liability insurance.
Right. Some of the huge, like Tower, they have a liability.
Well, yeah, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, as we come over here to call it TALA for short, but they require you to purchase a liability insurance before you can investigate it and name them the beneficiary.
Right. Well, we don't have to name the beneficiary, but we have to have it for our own personal teams. And any event's location that you go into requires you to show that you've got the right insurance before they'll allow you to go in to a location for your team. Nothing to do with the location. It's public liability for your team. And if something happens, then they're covered as well. Now, they've got their own insurance, which is their own buildings and contents insurance, but that's something completely different.
Now, we also have, I don't know if you guys have to do this or not, and it may be along the same line. When we go to a location, you have to sign a waiver saying that should Jay get scared, run down the stairs, and fall and break his neck and die, they're not responsible.
Yeah, but in the United States, a waiver is about as
right. But every place has those.
Every place has one, and everything you do in this country has a liability waiver. But they're about as worthless as the paper they're written on.
Yeah. So that some of the teams I've worked with, if we've had guests on, we've had them sign that kind of waiver in case they break their leg or whatever, as well. But we are covered by, or we have to be covered by, this public liability insurance. And I actually think that's really important.
Dave, do you ever heard of that?
So public, like for private investigations, we used to carry a liability insurance for our team, but it's very akin to professional liability insurance that you would have for any business, any small business. But basically, you're just protecting your team, your people from, in case you fall on the other person's property, but also in case they accuse you of stealing something or something like that. So, which can happen. You go into the house trying to help someone and they're like, my necklace is missing or whatever. And no one took it a team, and usually if you're smart, and this is why I always say, I don't usually care about video for most investigations because it's so rare you get good, real stuff on video. But you should definitely do a video walkthrough before and after your investigations, so you have an image of where everything was before and after. So if anything goes missing, you have something to refer to.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Nothing to do with just like checking the location out, but that's a really good idea.
It's all about CYA, because unfortunately in this day and age you have to.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out what that is. I've just done it.
Oh, you're talking about CYA?
Yeah.
Cover your ass.
Cover your ass, yeah. Arse in the UK.
Arse.
No, and I definitely think this is a growing trend. You have to cover your backside here in the UK as well, which is why they insist on these public liability insurances. And I think this is really important. And one thing that is lacking, I feel, in the field, particularly in the UK, is if an event does get cancelled, you should have insurance that backs you up for that as well. So if for whatever reason it gets cancelled, you're not out of pocket as a team if it gets cancelled.
That honestly, to me, events getting canceled though. Not the way the events are done over here.
If I'm hosting an event, then if I should have event insurance to protect my event. If I'm a person attending an event, it's the responsibility of the event holders to make good on that deal. If they cancel the event, they need to either reschedule it or give me my money back.
I don't disagree with you. But what if the money isn't there to pay back?
Then that's what the court system's for.
Then I'd be asking where it went.
Yeah, and they would have to tell the judge where it went.
Yeah, and that's really where the responsibility lies, isn't it? It relies with the event's organizer to make sure that they've got it covered, basically.
Yeah.
In the event that something goes wrong, it gets cancelled, they can either rebook it, or reschedule it, or be able to pay your money back. Now, I don't know about you, but how do you feel about refunds on deposits? If someone's paid a deposit for a ticket and you state that there's all deposits are non-refundable, how does that stand in America?
There's a lot of that. I mean,
I wouldn't pay a deposit on an investigation. That's ridiculous.
No, not for an investigation. And I usually won't buy my tickets in advance because I never know. There was what's only $5 or $10 more at the door if tickets are still available. And I'll take that chance because I'd rather spend the $5 or $10 more than pay $50, $60, $70 for a ticket and then something happened, I can't go because it's non-refundable. 90% of the time, they're non-refundable.
When I went on that big event over to Penhurst,
hell, I paid $100 for that damn thing.
Yeah, you paid $150.
Was it that?
Yeah,
I was awful nice to you that year for Christmas.
Yes, you were.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Well, plus we rented a Dodge Charger.
No, you rented a small car.
Well,
the
we
small
rented
car
a small
was messed
car.
up, and they upgraded you to a Dodge Charger.
Yeah, they asked us if we wanted. I don't remember what the other car was, or a Dodge Charger. We said Charger, and then we get to the hotel, only to find out that our room that had 2 queen beds had been upgraded to a suite. So the whole weekend was just unbelievably phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
She brown nosed that whole weekend away. But yeah, I wouldn't. Now, if you get an investigation, like you book a venue, say Rhodes Hotel, you pay a deposit to secure your night, because they had to start doing that over here because a lot of people would wait till like the night of or a day or two before and then cancel.
Yeah.
So all the venues start charging a deposit, which is non-refundable.
Mm-hmm.
But I would for like Dave said, for an investigation, I wouldn't pay no deposit. They say, well, it's a $50 ticket, give me a $10 deposit. I say, well, I kiss my ass and keep it.
Some of these event coordinators are charging $250 a ticket too for some of these events with celebrities, paranormal celebrities in it, and so. One of which is not online anymore for some reason, but I won't go into that. So it's $250 a lot of money, and you want to take some of that as a deposit, then I question. I understand that you have expenses, but it's still it comes down to starting an event like the first time is really hard to do because, first of all, you're never profitable. You're lucky to break even, right? The other problem is a lot of your money, almost all of it, goes out before the event even occurs to pay for the people coming in that are guests or facility stuff that you need, materials, whatever you need for the event, or the renting the location itself, because most of these event planners or event coordinators don't own the location. They just rent the locations out and plan the event. And so so a lot of money goes out for that. But once you've gotten through the cycle, as a major event company doing these kind of events, you should be able to afford to pay your people back if you have to cancel an event, or at least reschedule it and guarantee that they can go to some investigation within a year or whatever. But at the same time, if you over-invest and don't manage your business right, then, you will end up paying the price in the end, because you'll end up not only having to pay back the money out of your pocket eventually when the court orders you to do so, but you'll end up being fines. And then if you refuse after that, you'll end up with jail time for fraud.
Yeah, that's very true. That's how it works in America, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm really not sure how the justice system works in the UK on that particular one.
Oh, come on. You've not been involved with the justice system as on as you are?
Honestly, I've been very good girl. I haven't been involved in the old justice system, not in that way anyway.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
The drunk tank a few times, but that's what you guys call it, the drunk tank. I've been in there a few times, but not
I was going to say, I can
like
see
this.
Kerry bailing people out of jail, not the other way around.
Yeah, I rock out my inner lawyer, go in there.
They don't have drunk tanks over here anymore. They don't just hold you for a few hours and send you home anymore. They quit doing that.
Oh, if they stop doing that, they just let you go and be drunk in the street.
No, they hold you for several days and they make it a big court case and they charge you for all kinds of charges. And
oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. It's now public intox and then whatever else. Lewd and illicit behavior. What was that one they said? Indecent exposure. I said, well, apparently you didn't get good enough look, did you? But that never happened.
Okay, so...
On to a different subject.
I'm like, I don't know what to do with that, so we'll move on.
see that whole conversation about responsibility out the window.
Gone. It's all gone. So, it is a bit of a quagmire for public teams, isn't it, in regards to who's responsible for what and what you've got to pay for, and overstretching yourself. It is a very difficult line to balance, because the amount of times I've heard this, where someone's booked booked an event and then not been able to sell the ticket, so they've had to either reschedule it or cancel it, and have lost money on the event because obviously they've lost the deposit on the location. They've had to pay back people from their tickets. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if you go through all that, you're definitely going to lose money.
And it implodes. That's a big word, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I've never been that into the venue spectrum. We've always been somebody that's just assisting people who's doing events or small little local events like we've done for the charities and things like that. And the location always asked us to come in and have pretty much just lead the investigation, and then we end up pretty much doing
team investigation, just purely team investigations.
Well, actually, those they were public, but like Teresa said, that the location had waivers they had to sign before they could investigate, and non-disclaimers and all this other stuff. And so we've never.
I think we've signed waivers at every location we've been.
Oh, absolutely.
But I know one that we haven't been.
But I know Rob and Terry talking with him and stuff. The guy that owns Ashmore and Art Theater and stuff, he knows of teams that actually he's helped. Because that's what he does for a living. He's an insurance salesman. Usually does nothing but classic and collective cars, but he also helps some people with their teams get liability insurance and stuff. There are a few teams out there that do, because of the same reason that Dave said about people accusing him of something in their house or breaking something or anything like that. They want to be So, and I know he carries liability insurance whenever he has events at Ashmore.
Yeah,
but he's an insurance guy, so he knows all the ins and outs.
That's true. I mean, when I very first started, and this was a really small team of I think there was 10 people tops on our team, we still had public liability insurance. And as I say, locations would insist that you would have that, regardless of what insurance they had on the actual location. And if we went into a house, we also it covered us for that too, like a private location. Not all of us attended it all the time, you understand, but there was 10 people in the team, and that was really, really important to have that, because like you said, so many different circumstances can occur and you can go into so many dangerous circumstances at times that it's quite important to have it.
Oh, I imagine it is. I just we just started getting into residential, so I'd have to actually talk with the dynamics of that with our Paravisions, our team there, because Teresa and I never really did that. And when we did do residential, we was always guests of somebody else. So I've never handled that business side of it.
And I always say, it's one of those things that it's not important to have until you get sued, and then you wish you had it. So it's better to have it ahead of time. But, it's kind of akin to in my field, in the IT field, security is security. It costs extra money. So companies don't like to pay the money to have, IT security. But when they don't pay the money to have IT security, they get hacked. And next thing you know, they're paying out millions in, customers and all these other added things like the Equinox thing with the, personal identity information being, stolen. Giving you free personal identity insurance for a year or whatever. That's going to help. They'll just wait a year and then steal your information and use your information.
Why not? Now, there's another side to this, which is self-responsibility on an investigation. Now, this is a huge one. Not enough people are responsible for themselves. And you can talk about this in a physical sense, but also in a spiritual sense as well.
So do you mean personal moral responsibility, being true and honest on an investigation? Or do you mean, how do you mean?
In regards to physical, obviously, if you're going to put yourself in a dangerous position, you were talking off air, Jay, about a situation you went into where the floorboards were all rotten, so you were walking on joists.
Yeah, and then I got to where the carpet was bad until I heard the rattlesnakes underneath of it, and I backed out of the room.
Slowly backing out of the room.
No, I got the hell out of there pretty quick. I was fast as a little fast shuffle. I mean,
we haven't got rattlesnakes in this
country. That'd probably be the only thing you get a dude run moment out of Jay for.
Right?
But
actually, he backed up very slowly and
snakes
very
don't bother
cautiously.
me, but when they have fangs and can kill me, I have a little bit more of a respect for them. I'm not going to run from them, or I'm not going to but I'm also not going to go up there and try to grab them by the tail and see if they want to shake hands. There is a few times I do show a little bit of judgment of sanity. Few.
Unlike that Steve guy who's no longer with
showing
us.
self-responsibility, isn't it? That's becoming aware that you're in a dangerous situation and you need to get out of that.
If it could just possibly get me hurt, I'm not going to stop. If it could possibly get me killed, now I got to rethink things. If it's just another scar or something like that, who gives a shit? Let's go for it.
Jay's like, crikey, it's putting venom in my arms right now.
Oh, shit.
If it's a life and death situation, I kind of back up and I think about it. But if it's only just going to be another, what they going to do, cut off another finger? Hell, I've done that twice. Let's go for it.
Well, this is true. But if you put yourself in that position and say you did get hurt, yeah, that's your responsibility, right?
Yeah, that's my problem.
If you did something, if I look at it this way. It doesn't matter if I'm investigating somewhere or just if I'm coming to your house and I do something and I slip and fall and I break my leg. I'm not going to sue you for that.
Now, I'm gonna be on the fence with this one and a little bit disagree with you, because if the homeowner doesn't declare an obvious hazard that you wouldn't be able to visually see with your eyes, but is definitely a problem that they're aware of, and you end up slipping and falling and breaking a leg or something, that's on them. But if it's something that they told you about and you decided to go into that area anyways, that's because you made a bad choice.
All right, I get that. I get that. If they tell you,
I completely disagree with
that. Listen to this.
I'm listening.
Okay, in the living room, there's a big hole in the floor.
Right.
Okay. And all they did was just throw a rug over it and didn't tell you about it.
Yeah, that's dangerous as hell, and they should tell you about it, because
they should have said, look, there's a hole under this floor, under this rug here, so kind of stay away from that. It's a little dangerous. That's different. Rather than I miss my footing on the step.
Right.
And I fall and break my leg.
Okay.
Because accidents happen.
Either way, I'm probably not going to say anything to them. Now, the one that they intentionally covered something up and I got hurt, more than likely what's going to happen is when I get up and I'm able to walk over towards where they're at, I'm going to punch them with the blasted nose. And we're both going to be hurt, because that's how I'm going to handle it. I'm not going to go get a lawyer or anything else. I'm just going to whip their ass. Or take another ass with them, whichever the case may go.
Not most people are quite as aggressive as you do.
Well, but they did something.
Lord help me.
But that's how I am. I've never in my life thought, well, I'll call my lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. I don't have one on retainer, and I don't want to call one.
Okay, we're at a private investigation. I'm the one that falls. Now, you're going to stay there with me. You're not going to suddenly run over, leave me laying there, and go punch somebody in the nose.
No, I'm going to get you.
Because I'm going to be pissed as hell.
I want to help you out. They're going to take you to the hospital before I get there. I want to go back and punch them in the damn nose. Now, I'm going to.
And then I'm going to find an attorney.
Investigation prematurely ends at 1:30 in the morning. They go to the ER. They're there for 5 hours. They leave. Jay goes, hold on, I'll be right back. Ding dong. Bam.
Exactly.
Gets back in the car and goes home.
but the truth's I'm going to go find a lawyer, which isn't going to do any good, because they'll say, well, you sue me for falling through the hole. I'll sue you for him punching me in the nose. So it's a wash.
Then you don't punch them in the nose.
But I feel better.
It didn't help me a damn bit.
It helped me.
Well, you won't hurt.
They are.
You won't hurt.
Oh, dear. I love this. So, there's another side of the paranormal other than a physical hurt. And this is spiritual self-responsibility.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, I bring the spiritual into the room.
If you told me he was going to bring that on, I'd have got the bottle of rum before I come in here.
No. Teresa understands this as well as I do, yeah?
Yeah. I think that, when we go on a private investigation.
Or public. You do the same thing there, too.
Yeah, I do. I'm fortunate that I can protect those around me.
Not some of us.
That I'm just going to turn your damn mic off. That for protection, especially when we're with another team, and you don't know what you're going for, you say a prayer before you go in, and ask for assistance. Ask for protection.
No, I don't.
That's right, honey. You're big and bad, and you don't need to. I forgot.
It's not about that. That's just you getting that attitude on that. This has nothing about being big or bad. If that would be like if I have a belief that I can actually do that and have protection, then we'll have protection. If I don't feel that any prayer thing like that's going to help me, then it's like saying, okay, I'm a Christian. I'm going to do a voodoo prayers for protection. But I don't believe in voodooism, so nothing about it's going to have any protection for me.
So you don't believe in God at all?
I didn't say I didn't believe in God. I just said I don't think there's a reason for protection.
Why not? Because you're big and bad, and you don't have to worry about anything.
It has nothing to do with that. What do you need protection from? There's less than 1% chance of something of any kind of a thing proven. That according to a lot of people, this is proven, which I kind of disagree with that also.
Okay, you broke your dick. There's that 1% chance that you're going to walk into that house and it's going to be demon infested, okay?
Actually, you got a better chance of breaking your penis than ever finding a demon.
It doesn't have to be demonic.
Or worse, the demon's going to break your penis.
Wow, my goodness.
If so much of this human population alive right now is not even malevolent or anything else. We all have bad days. So because you come into something, a spirit or something like that, maybe you found them on a pissy day, or you said something that made them mad or something, and they responded to you in a little bit of an aggressive way. Everybody's so immediately thinking, oh, now it's evil, it's demonic, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So every single person that comes in after that treats them that same damn way. I'd be a hateful son of a bitch, too.
Okay, you go in and you say, before you go in, before you even leave the damn house, our house, you say a prayer, let us get there safely, let us be able to help this family, find some answers for them.
Yes, you do. I don't. I just don't do that. It's just not something I do. I haven't seen the point or been to a situation. Maybe I'll go. Maybe this case that we go to this weekend will scare the shit out of me and I'll change my mind. So far, it hasn't. So far, I haven't. It took me 4 motorcycle wrecks to realize I was too stupid to ride a motorcycle. I mean,
we knew that before.
Okay.
But playing devil's advocate here, you know somebody that has been seriously affected by an alleged spirit and takes spiritual steps to counter that. And that's the lady from I can't remember her name, the Bel Air house?
Kristen Lee.
Yeah. Kristen Lee, that's right. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that happened to her.
Yes, it did.
In quite a serious way.
Yeah, it affected her entire life.
Exactly. So it has, we all know these people that it has affected, and we're putting ourselves in that position every time we go to a paranormal investigation. So we have to take some self-responsibility for that, surely.
Well, we do. Jay doesn't.
I'm not the only one.
Okay, I got to say something here.
I'm not the only one. You couldn't let me get kicked in the nuts here, Dave. Help me out, bub.
Okay. I was waiting to see how bad you could dig yourself in the hole, but you just they were burying you, so I wanted to give you a little bit of air here.
They're not. I disagree with it.
I personally believe that there are multiple ways of protecting yourself. One of which is to believe you are protected, period. It has nothing to do with believing in a higher power. I think that they are all multiple ways to achieving the same goal. I think in the end result, when you're making a prayer for protection, or you believe you are protected, the same effect is your psyche is projecting a psychic protection field that is protecting you and keeping things at bay.
Well said, David.
I agree.
So Jay, you're not wrong.
He doesn't believe he's protected.
Jay, you're not right either.
I never once said I don't need protection. I've not found a situation where I needed it so far. There may be a situation that I have, but every place we've been so far, show me one place that was so bad that we've had to have protection. The worst thing we had in there was somebody, I don't know, pulled my hair. Oh shit! I'm usually bald. They didn't do that either. Damn.
But you're absolutely right. You feel protected. You don't feel you need it because you just are who you are. You are who you are. You feel protected. You have that natural protection going. I was the exact same way right up until not during Henderson, not the last night investigation in Henderson when other people had crazy crap going on in front of me, and I was just kind of like, what the hell is going on? This is weird. No, it was the 2 nights later when I had this whole vision while driving that lured me subconsciously driving towards Henryton off the highway and going to there by myself. And was luring me up the hill, had this whole weird vision thing. And when I snapped out of that, I went, holy crap. And since then, well, not since then, but from that point on for multiple years, I did not feel protected anymore. I felt vulnerable.
And that's what I'm saying. Something like that may happen.
Yeah.
I've not had anything to me. I've not had any experience in my life, whether it be paranormal or not. Even with, I would get another motorcycle right now. I just don't have that fear or that feeling that I need something to protect me. I think I am protected. Obviously, God protects idiots and fools, and I'm double covered, or I wouldn't still be here with all the shit that I've been through. So I don't worry about that. But I've never ever worried about harm like that. Like I said earlier, the only thing that got me to come out of that, I went through the rest of the house. Teresa and I was crazy walking on the joists. The only room I didn't go into is one that had rattlesnakes underneath of it. And the only reason I wanted to go through that room because there was a closet on the other side, a walk-in closet that I couldn't see what was in there. And it still drives me crazy. Hey, it's cold out. The snakes are in the ground. Can we go now? That's a good idea. Let's go down there next weekend. The snakes will be getting out underneath the house. They'll be buried. They'll be down in their caves and hibernating. I can go in that room now. See, you guys made me think of that. Now I got to go to Kentucky next weekend.
Except for that hole that's leaking all that.
Except for the big hole that you're going to fall down.
I can get to it now. As long as the snakes ain't down there, I don't give a shit. Let's go.
But having known people that have had that form of effect that's happened to them, you know them very well, you trust them, you know they're not bullshitting. You also know it was very subtle. It wasn't like we talked about poltergeist, didn't we, the other week, where something got thrown and someone got hurt. The effect was very, very subtle over a long period of time.
Yeah, David Glidden in the chat room said something that I actually like. Mm-hmm. He says, I think it's more of a situation in which someone feels physically in danger that the need for protection triggers. Well, so I can understand that because it's like, you know, you walk through and then all of a sudden you feel that need, that you feel vulnerable, you feel like something's wrong, and you feel that need for the protection.
Well, it's like over in the Facebook Live, Lee said something about the crawler, like the situation with the crawler. Everybody else in the world wouldn't get near him and stuff. I got down on my knees right in front of it and opened up to it. I didn't feel like I needed protection there even.
No, but you went on how you was feeling. But if you had felt threatened at that particular point in time.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I don't need it or may never need it. I just feel that so far I've not encountered anything. Or like Dave, for a long time, he didn't either. David Glidden said he don't use protection either. It's not just me, and it's not because we think we're bigger and badder. It's just I've not had that experience to where I think that I'm in danger or in harm's way, spiritually, mentally, or emotionally, at all. Mm-hmm. And I'm open to it. And can it be stupid? Yes. If I got in a situation that the Bel Air house, what she went through and things, and I did what I do, could I get myself in a world situation of a world of shit that I can't get out of, and I'm going to need help? Probably so. Mm-hmm. But I'm always been the type to push the adventures of things. It's almost like being an adrenaline junkie all my life. I just, no matter what happens, I always want to see, if I take a step and it doesn't get me hurt or killed, then I want to take another step, and I want to take another step, and I want to take another step. And he's like, oh, it's starting to hurt a little bit. Well, should I stop? No, I'm going to take one more till it hurts a little bit. I can still take the pain. I can go again. That's just the character and the personality that I've always had. So it's probably bravado and stupid in this situation with paranormal. I don't know. Has it been so far? No.
David?
No, I totally agree with what Jay's saying. I really do. And I feel the same way today. But like I said, there was a period of time after that incident that I didn't feel my confidence was shaken. And that's where it comes down to. When your confidence is shaken, you feel vulnerable anyways, in any situation, whether it's paranormal or just in life. And so when you feel vulnerable, you're unsure of yourself. When you're unsure of yourself in any way or shape or form, you're no longer putting up that natural protection. So what do you turn to? Something that reassures you, whether that's your faith in God, whether that's your faith in the spirits, the wind, bunny rabbits or kitty cats, whatever it is, whatever gives you strength, that, you put your faith in that, and and it restores you. And so, and I'm all for that. And that's why I don't pick on people who want to pray before investigations. And if they insist on doing a group thing, then I'll join in. I probably won't say anything out loud because I'm not that kind of person, but I'll hold hands with everyone and do the whole thing and, whatever. But generally, I don't feel I need it. I feel that I can protect myself just by my natural who I am.
Okay. So on a day-to-day level, we come across people all the time. I have something I call shielding that I place around me if I feel that somebody's affecting my energy, whether that be a person or whether that be a spirit.
And I do that too.
And that's exactly, it's a personal protection that I put in place. And I take that very seriously, and I see that as my responsibility to protect myself in that way. And I think Teresa does this too, don't you, when you do energy work?
Yes, I do. I use what Scotty Rourke taught me as a protection bubble. And that's why it made a lot of sense to me on what David Glidden was saying, because I don't walk around and pretend that I'm in a bubble all the time. But if I'm in a situation where I feel that I need the extra protection, that I need the extra help, or I feel threatened a little bit, or I'm a little bit edgy, then all I have to do is kind of think about it, and boom, it's there. Yeah. It triggers. And I kind of think that's what he was talking about.
Did you see the quote that David Glidden just put in the chat room?
Fear of the unknown hinders the development of informed opinions, doctors use.
Even Dr. Seuss agrees with me.
Brilliance. Pure genius.
I wouldn't say that I do shielding or anything like that out of fear of the unknown, though, because that's what I'm out there searching for.
Right.
It's not fear of the unknown, because I'm looking for the unknown. I'm looking for the paranormal. I'm looking for the unexplained. I'm not fearful of that.
It's invasion of your personal space.
Exactly. If something, not just spiritually, but physically as well, like a person stands too close to me, I whack my shield up, and I've had people in a supermarket, like when you're queuing in a supermarket, someone stands that bit too close, and that invades your personal space. I whack my shield up, and they physically take a step back because I don't want them in my space.
So you put up an energy shield. Well, look, I'm going to go like, can I help you? Like, no. I said, is there a reason why you try to stay in my damn pocket? You want to back off a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's cultural issues. Like, for instance, in India, it's very common for them to be very close, more close than Americans are comfortable with as far as personal space. So when I started working earlier on in my career with a lot of H-1B visas over here in the States from India, they would come right up to me and walk like their toes would be basically almost touching my toes, talking to me, and I'm like. I'd put my hands up and take a step back and go, okay, you're getting a little too close. Because it's just very uncomfortable to have someone get in your face like that quick, even in a way where they're not being threatening about it.
Right, and they didn't see anything wrong with it.
Right, and that's their normal. That's what they're used to. That's their culture.
That's their cultural.
Right. Now, spiritually speaking, I don't know about you all, but when something is close to me, it's almost like tinnitus. The ringing in my ear starts, and if it gets really close, depending on we'll just call it the frequency of its vibration or whatever, it can be incredibly loud and painful to me to hear when it occurs. And I literally put up those shields. And I do something a little bit different than a couple different things I do, but one of the things I do a little different than most people visualize is I actually visualize like an electric field, like shocking the hell out of them when I do it.
You notice that the men are a lot more aggressive about it than the ladies.
noticed that.
Yeah, you don't
Have
mess
you
with my
noticed
personal
this?
space. You don't mess with my personal space. And then the other thing I do, if it is something that I feel is a lower vibration, where we were talking about something not nice, spiritually wise, is I envision what I kind of focus like a small little white light in my center core, and like fill it with energy constantly, and then explode it outward instantly, like a bomb, like a grenade. And when I do that, I tell you, I've done this before, and it's really interesting because we were doing a ghost box session. And I felt like something was like right on top of me, like I could even feel it touching my neck and back and stuff, like it was trying to attach or something. And I did that, and literally, you heard on the ghost box, it called me an asshole like a second later after I did that. And I was just, and I've done that in certain situations, and I don't want to go into the details of that story right now, but where I literally, you heard a loud pop as it went flying through the wall. This is something I actually saw. So
yeah.
Stuff like that's absolutely amazing because I don't see I don't.
I don't usually see them either. I don't usually see them either, but this was special circumstances. So yeah, it was really weird.
I don't know how special that would be. I'd be like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I kind of like when something touched my head.
So there is a responsibility that you have to yourself in regards to investigations. So we all agreed on that point.
Well, yeah, I agree that you have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility and if you're doing a residential, you have a responsibility to the clients. But to me, is I look at it a different way. Well, it's not different. It's the same as everybody else. I try to be more open-minded about it. Just like when we do residentials, I always said I don't want to interact with the client whatsoever. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to hear what their claims are. I don't want to be there for the reveal. I don't want that interaction with them. It's nothing against them as people. I just want to keep my mind as objective as possible to look at the evidence that's going on, or what I've captured or what I haven't captured. If they say, well, this is something they hear over here, then I want to be able to go do it objectively and see if I can't recreate it and things like that. I don't want to have that whole personal interaction with them. It's nothing personal against them. It's to protect my ability to give them the proper investigation I think that they deserve, and also protect them from my lunacy.
See, there is another side to this, and Dave has touched on this. He commented he thinks that your mental state going in is also indicative of how you may experience things and at what level you experience. Now, there is a train of thought in the UK that if you're suffering from like depression or anxiety or going through an emotionally traumatic situation for whatever reason, you shouldn't actually investigate. So you're being responsible for yourself, but also your place on the team, because it can affect what you're experiencing whilst you're out there.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
In many ways. I think the law of attraction applies here. If you are in a lower state, a negative state, as depression and so forth, you will attract things that are in negative states. Things that are similar to you. And that may not be something you want to deal with or are prepared to deal with on an investigation, especially if you've never had to deal with anything like an attachment or anything like that. But at the same time, you could potentially draw in things that affect others besides yourself. And then not only that, your perception is suspect and not very valuable as an objective, even though you can't really be 100% objective in a paranormal investigation. And anyone who says they can is lying to you. But your objectivity quotient, or whatever you want to call it, is highly suspect when you're bipolar or chronically depressed. Because your ability to perceive things the way they are, like most people can, is hindered.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And I think it's dangerous for those type of people to be in the paranormal for that reason, because those are the type of people who think they see things or hear things who really aren't happening. There's stuff that their minds are manifesting in their subconscious, or they're perceiving it as such. I think it's dangerous, because these are also the same type of people who end up telling clients, "You got a demon in your house," and it's not really anything near it. Yeah.
Teresa?
I said they tell you they've got a demon in the house, and see you later.
Yeah, and then the client's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, now you got to call another team in to clean up the mess. And it may not be a mess as far as what's in the house. It's a mess as far as how they left the client.
Yeah.
I
totally agree with that.
That's the responsibility to your client.
Exactly. Now, David has said, on the flip side, if you're upset, angry, I think we'll go with that word. If you're angry going in, you could also repel. Now, think about how, when you're angry, you're very closed. You don't want to hear other people's opinions. You're quite stuck in your viewpoint because you're being driven by an emotion. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can block a location by going into a location that way.
I think you can also do that if you go in and you flat out, I know there's nothing here. I know that the people are all lying. We're not going to get a thing. You need to go in with an open mind as far as you don't know what to expect.
I agree with that too. I used to work with a guy, and I've never known somebody who could shut a location down the way this guy could. If he didn't want something to happen, nothing. We would have the deadest night going. And there was one occasion where I had to take him to one side and say, "Enough. Come on. We're out here doing our best to try and, open communication with alleged spirit, and you are literally shutting it down with the way you're being. Your energy is just shutting the location down." And I really had to have a chat with him. And but he was a medium, funny enough, and it was actually his spirit guide shutting the location down, because she was so protective of him that she didn't want him to experience anything, so she just shut locations down and made him in such a foul mood that he would shut it down. Wow. And then once we sat down and we had a discussion about this, and I had a chat to his spirit guide, and I talked. I assumed she listened, and and then the energy lifted, and he started working better, and the evening improved in energy. I'm not saying we caught masses of paranormal evidence, because we didn't, but you could feel that the energy had lifted. So I've experienced that in the field. So there was a responsibility that his spirit guide had for him in overprotecting him.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I felt when I understand that to a degree, because like when we would be in charge of groups at a location, I, to a certain degree, felt responsible for the group that I was with.
Mm.
Yeah, like in Henderson,
Yeah.
I was always the
Especially if
last
they are-
person out, always, of every room or whatever. I kept an eye on everyone.
Yeah, you have this responsibility, especially if there are people that have never investigated before, which we would get a lot of those. They don't know how to protect themselves. They don't know how to do any of that. So I took it upon myself to do that for them, because they were just there to have a good time.
Yeah, you have got to look out for people and keep your eye on them and see how they're reacting in an environment, don't you?
Oh, definitely, definitely. If you see somebody that's been chitty chatty the whole time, and all of a sudden you go into this one location in the building, and they just start sitting in the corner quietly.
Mm-hmm.
By the out of character.
Yes, very much so.
You need to go over and ask what's going on. As an investigator, that's your responsibility to the other investigators that don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't like working with people that are not seasoned, that don't know what they're doing.
It is a heck of a responsibility, that one, when you're in the field and you're with somebody that has never done it before. Because not only are you trying to educate them and, let them have a use of tech and all the rest of it, you're also having to break down a lot of preconceived ideas.
Yes.
That they come in with. Or they'll come in scared before they've even started. So you're having to sort of like go, trust me. It's quite boring at times. You know what I mean? You're not going to have a ghost jumping out at you at every corner or a demon lurking up out of the floorboards every second. You're going to be sitting there for quite a long time with probably not a lot happening. But in the meantime, we will, use the equipment and do what we can and try and open up lines of communication if we can. But 99% of the time, you've got to break down those preconceived ideas, but be responsible for how they react in that environment.
Yeah.
Is Jay still with us?
Yeah, he's quietly listening.
I want you guys to chew my ass out again.
Oh, we don't chew your ass out. I mean, one thing
But I kind of like it.
There's one thing we have discussed before on Parasearch is how what you consume can affect you in the field, like high energy drinks. Richard has put this in the chat room. People don't do themselves any favours by drinking high energy drinks or high sugary foods, like fast foods and stuff like that, because that can actually lower your energy vibration. It changes your energy vibration. You should try and keep your energy vibration quite neutral. So you eat clean food, not high sugary foods.
Well, that's something along the lines with the Belair House. Kristen
Bell.
Yeah, Kristen Lee was talking about that with her abilities with being psychic, medium, and sensitive stuff. She watches her diet for her that she
eats but there's something negative there.
Yeah, but
really
she tries not to eat any kind of red meats or anything like that before she goes there.
No red meats for a week before she goes.
Right.
So if that's the case, if it comes down to me giving up my red meats or being possessed, we're going with possession, baby.
I'm going to have to learn how to do exorcisms.
I'm going to go and eat half a cow before I go on that investigation.
Yeah.
Jay will discover the incubus. Not succubus, the incubus.
I'm going to have to learn how to do exorcisms.
Well, somebody's got to give it a try.
Right.
It's proven that excessive caffeine or sugar can actually affect the, how you perceive things as well. They're highly addictive and they can change your perception of things as well.
I never thought about that.
But anything can that.
Because I've been known to drink an energy drink.
Oh, hell yeah.
On investigation, if we're going really late, that way I can stay awake.
Who hasn't, to be fair?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, Jay doesn't drink them.
I mean, it's an unspoken rule that you should never drink on an investigation alcohol.
I don't drink. Well,
right. No, we don't drink alcohol.
No, we don't drink alcohol, but I do want to conduct an experiment with that because I highly think in a residential, I get that. Absolutely no alcohol whatsoever. But I would like to go to a venue and do a controlled experiment where somebody's not drinking, somebody has a couple, somebody has a few more. Because of the fact that they could get possessed and all that stuff, I think is absolute bunk. And if that was the case, the Stanley Hotel would have people possessed every freaking weekend. Absolutely. There's so many places that are haunted. We lived in Post-Town School for 4.5 years. I got shit-faced hammered on moonshine a couple different times. Nothing. It's not the alcohol. It has nothing to do with that. And I think that that's been taken to an extreme. Is it good? No. Can people be belligerent and an asshole when they've been drinking? Yes. Will they act that way with the spirits as well as they would living people? Absolutely. Is there a problem with it in that manner? Yes. But when they say something about open you up for possessions and all this other, I say horse shit.
However, I would imagine that at that time, your energy level was very low. Your energy vibration was very low. And you don't know if anything extra was affecting you in a more negative way because your perception is completely awry. The best person to talk to would have been somebody who was witnessing it and not actually
there was nothing negative going on. They had those metal binders that you put for paper clips. I was putting them on my ears and my nose and ripping them off. And yeah, I was doing things that would get me just silly shit like that. And tried to do a speed drill with a knife, and they took the knife away because I stabbed myself twice. So I used a fork.
Okay. And nothing negative ever happened, did it, Teresa?
No,
come on.
That's common normal shit that I do. I do that Civil War drinking is because it's funny.
But I will say, if you, if you're going on an investigation, especially say it's a public investigation,
I control myself that way.
And you don't. If you have a beer before you go,
nope.
I don't. I personally, like if you're out to dinner before you go, you have a beer, and you go. I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you go, you have shots, you have a whole lot of alcohol, then you run to the fact of you can't keep your damn mouth shut while everybody's trying to do an EVP. You become rude. There's a greater chance of you falling and hurting yourself or hurting somebody else. There's the responsibility part of it again.
Yeah. It's being self-responsible, isn't it, for how you're going to act out in the field?
Exactly. If I can drink one beer and drive a vehicle, I can drink one beer and go on an investigation. Now, I would never do that. Never do that. Going to a private investigation in somebody's home.
Yeah.
That I would never do.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that. I mean, I can't sit here and say I've never done it because I have. I've gone out on an investigation quite drunk before now. And by about 1 o'clock in the morning, I was like, done. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't continue. I was like, I need to sleep now. I'm sobering up. I've got a headache. But I wasn't responsible for myself on that investigation. But we're running out of time. We could carry on this one, couldn't we? But we're running out of time.
Let's postpone this and talk more about it next week. I mean, there's so much that we got on this round table, and I actually like doing a round table like this. I think we'll continue next week. Thank y'all for listening. Bye. Your turn.
Yeah. Thanks very much for listening. Join us next week when we continue this conversation.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
It's not easy. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.